Welcome to episode 1 of Family Meal.
Take a seat, it's Family Meal. There's a new menu every episode. These are the real dishes I cook for my family. The ingredients can easily be found, they're affordable, and there's no fancy equipment. It's just real cooking for real people. The hero of today's menu is our GOCHUJANG roast chicken. It's a little sweet, a little spicy, but hella tasty. I'm serving it with sesame broccoli, a super simple and easy way to dress up any kind of veg. And our staples, of course, rice and kimchi.
The first thing we need to get started on is the marinade for the chicken, and it's all about this. This is gochujang. It's a Korean fermented chili paste, and it has a brilliant color. The aroma is really mouth-watering, and its flavor profile is sort of like sweet, salty, a little bit tangy. It's not really sour, but it's got a little kick of heat. Not too much, but it's just one of the most incredible ingredients that you can have in your pantry. So this stuff is commonly found in Korean cuisine, and it just adds such a depth of color and flavor to any of your dishes. And it makes perfect sauces, perfect marinades.
So we'll add 2 to 3 heaped tablespoons of gochujang to a bowl, along with 2 tablespoons of light soy sauce. I'm gonna add 1 heaped tablespoon of honey and 1 to 2 tablespoons of vinegar. You can use any vinegar you like. 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and you can feel free to use minced garlic cloves if you prefer, but I find that you risk the garlic burning during the roasting process. Throw in a teaspoon of cracked black pepper. Then we'll add 2 tablespoons of sesame oil and 2 tablespoons of neutral oil, something like vegetable or rice bran oil. Give it a really good stir. Just keep stirring until all the oil is completely incorporated. You should get a thick sauce.
Always taste your marinade before you start marinating. You want to be able to balance the sweet, salty, spicy, sour, all of those flavors before you actually go ahead and put it on something. Because if it doesn't taste good now, it's probably not going to taste good later. So now's your real chance to get all of that work done and all of that flavor in there. The other tip I have is always make sure your marinades and sauces are seasoned properly. In other words, add enough salty ingredients, because if you don't, that marinade is just going to sit on the outside of whatever you're marinating and it won't really penetrate in. Don't forget, the marinade has to actually get into whatever food you're coating with this thing and actually flavor and season it all the way through. That's good. You could actually use a little bit more soy sauce. Again, I want to amp up the seasoning a little bit so that the chicken has the best chance of being tasty all the way through. Perfect.
Now let's prep the chicken. So this is a 2 kilogram chook. It's definitely on the large side, and it'll feed 4 to 6 people quite comfortably. The first thing I like to do is actually remove the flaps of fat at the cavity. You'll see that they're quite big chunks of fat, and you can freeze these and use them later to render down and make chicken fat fried rice or add the chicken fat into a sauce. Next, we're going to spatchcock this chicken, which is just a chefy term for cutting the backbone and flattening it out. Stand the chicken up on its neck end and use a sharp knife to cut down one side of the backbone. There shouldn't be too much resistance, but you will have to cut through a couple small bones. Flip the chicken back over, skin side up, and spread it out a little. Then make your chiropractor jealous. Place a steady hand on the breastbone and give it a firm push. It'll crack and flatten out. And there it is, a spatchcocked or butterfly chicken. Now, to be a little more chefy, you could remove the backbone entirely. Just cut along the other side of the spine. Chicken shears are ideal for this, and you can use the backbone in stock, soups, or even gravy. But I'm here to give you unfussy food, so let's just leave it alone. Plus, it's kind of nice to gnaw on. Give the bird a really good pat down with paper towel. This removes excess moisture so our marinade can actually stick to the chicken. Give the marinade a good stir and cover both sides of the chicken. But reserve about a quarter of the marinade because we'll use that to baste the chicken sort of halfway through cooking. Rub the marinade in, covering all surfaces, including the bone side. Then let the chicken sit and just marinate for at least 30 minutes. You get the best results if you do this overnight in the fridge. Preheat your oven to 180 Celsius. After your marinating time is up, place the chicken on a rack over a lined tray and get all that marinade from the tray onto the chicken. Leave no flavour behind. Chook goes in at 180 for 70 minutes. I like to use the highest oven rack because it's a tiny bit hotter and it'll create some dark, slightly more crisp bits of skin. There's about 30 minutes left on the chicken in the oven, and now is when the action happens. There's a few things we gotta do to get this meal together. Put the rice on. Wash your rice really well in water, then drain. This removes excess starch so you don't end up with mushy rice, but the grains appear more fluffy and separated. I'm using a rice cooker, you can cook it however you prefer. Then give your reserved marinade a really good stir. Pull the chicken out of the oven and spoon over or brush on the remaining marinade, coating as much of the chicken as you can. Then pop it back into the oven to finish cooking. Our side dish is sesame broccoli, and this is one of the most easy, rewarding, delicious dishes that is an absolute go-to in my household. We never get sick of it, and it's quite light and it's just delicious. Take a slice directly off the bottom of the stem, as it's usually dried up and a little woody. Then slice the whole head of florets off. Slice any bigger florets into halves or thirds. We're looking for a generally uniform size of all the florets. Not too small, but not too huge either. You can pull the florets off the central stem with your hands. It's a lot quicker this way. Just make sure everything is the same size. And then cut that little core into half. It's super sweet, and I actually love eating this part raw. Next, trim off the skin around the stem's base. This step's optional, but I find the skin a little bit fibrous, and some family members are less likely to eat the broccoli stem if it's tough. Then slice the stem in half lengthways, and then into thin pieces, sort of the same size as the florets. Crush and finely chop about 3 to 4 garlic cloves per head of broccoli. My family loves garlic, but if you're not a big fan, you can reduce the amount of garlic or just leave it out altogether. And now set all of that aside while we toast some sesame seeds. So heat the sesame seeds in a dry pan on medium-low heat. No oil, nothing. Toss them frequently to avoid burning, and it'll take about 3 to 4 minutes for them to become deliciously golden and nutty. Do not walk away from them because they can burn super easily once they start to brown. By this stage, your chicken should be done. Take it out of the oven and transfer it to a large platter. And just look at those beautiful dark spots, that vibrant color. That's the magic of caramelized gochujang and honey. Leave the bird to rest for at least 15 minutes on the platter, so all those juices will be caught. Do not cut into it. Let it relax and redistribute all its juiciness, all its tastiness. Back to the brock. So this is the absolute easiest way to steam any vegetable. Get a pan on high heat. Add the veg in, then a very small splash of water, about 1/3 cup. Quickly pop the lid on, and in 3 to 4 minutes, you've got tender, steamed veggies. See how the broccoli is still green and the water has completely evaporated. Slide the garlic in along with 1 to 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. Stir well. Then add 1 to 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Shake it, stir it, and as soon as it's all mixed up, cut the heat. Then throw in a generous amount of those sesame seeds. And she's gorgeous. The broccoli is vibrant green. It's not overcooked and lifeless. It retains its texture, and it's the perfect pairing with sesame. Now our chicken's rested, there's a nice pool of resting juices in the plate. It's time to start carving. I like to remove the merlins. That means the drumstick and the thigh. You can see the meat is super juicy and it's cooked all the way through, even through the joint. And then I like to take off the wings and drummies and then slice the breast. Lengthways so you get a nice thin long slice. And just look at that, that breast meat is super juicy and it's cooked completely. That juiciness is the result of not keeping the bird in the oven too long and letting the bird rest for enough time after cooking. I like to garnish with toasted sesame seeds and sliced spring onion. Now that is a pretty plate of roast chicken. Set it on the table and serve up that fluffy steamed rice. I'm also serving kimchi just straight out of the packet. It's just easy. And that, my friends, is family meals sorted. Sesame broccoli, gochujang roast chicken, tuck in. Leftover chicken and broccoli makes a great sandwich or salad. It'll keep in the fridge for 3 to 4 days.
Oh, drumstick for me! Sweet, spicy thing going on. It's so juicy and tender. And with that broccoli that's just sort of green and fresh and that sesame nutty flavor. This meal is really, really awesome. No wonder it's a family favorite.
I really hope you guys have enjoyed this first episode. Give the recipes a go and tag me in your family meals on Instagram. Please subscribe, like, and share this. I'll catch you at the next family meal.